Also, yucca. Yucca is amazing.
okay.
It grows everywhere. You can put it on rock and it grows.
Oh, wow.
And you can make bread out of. So it's telling you, oh, there's a house there. Maybe somebody tells me what's going on.
So we gotta go
Or
talk
they give
to
me
it.
something to eat. I have a lot of. I'm very hungry. So it says investigate the house.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I got to figure that one out. Welcome, everyone, to Archaeology Arcade, the online program of the Florida Public Archaeology Network. I'm Mike with FPAN's Coordinating Center based out of Pensacola, Florida. Joining me, as always, is Tristan, who is joining us from our office out of Tallahassee. Tristan, how's your Friday going?
Pretty good. I'm glad to be back at the reins, and we'll see if I die this time.
Yeah, you've got the controls. Last time I had the controls, and now it's your turn for me to give you a hard time. As you hopefully we'll see what happens. I know this is Minecraft, so anything can happen. But joining us, I think this is your third time on, Andres, is Andres Garzon. He's an archaeologist with Florida Atlantic University. Andres, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. It's glad to be back, and I'm excited to see how Tristan does in this game. Hopefully he'll up the difficulty a little bit. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's got to be easier than any Tomb Raider game, I would think. But I know my son was super excited about us playing this game. He's 9 years old. He absolutely loves Minecraft. I've only played it a couple times, but I kind of understand it. But I'm going to read off the description of this game. This is the #1 game in simulation. I think it has been for a number of years now. But this is the description just right off of the Apple Store. It's the first thing that popped up when I Googled it. It says, explore infinite worlds and build everything from the simplest of homes to the grandest of castles. Play in creative mode with unlimited resources or mine deep into the world in survival mode, creating weapons and armor to fend off dangerous mobs. Create, explore, and survive alone or play with friends on all different devices. And, my son's school, they actually even play Minecraft in his school, I guess. There's like an educational version. And I guess I'm not sure what they're learning in it. I'm sure what the lesson is, but I know they do use it at least in our school systems here in the Florida Panhandle. So, Andres, can you tell us a little bit about is this a world that you created, and can you kind of give us a background about what this is all about?
Oh, absolutely. So, basically, I wanted to create an educational game for kids down in the coast of Ecuador that shows them a little bit about their past. I was looking into the Minecraft Education Edition, which is fantastic. It has a lot of resources and ways to do things, but it's very limited to where you can distribute it. You can only distribute it in the US. So what I did was this is based on Minecraft Java, which has an amazing level of editability. You can add characters, you can add dialogue, you can create whole worlds. So this one, basically what it is, it's a small adventure educational game within Minecraft Java that recreates a section of a river valley in the cloud forest of coastal Ecuador where I work. And we found over 50 archaeological sites that are the stone foundations of these old houses. So I was able to use a program called World Painter to recreate that segment of the valley to scale. So every block in Minecraft is a meter. And then put the location of the sites in their place and reconstruct the buildings and eventually add a narrative and a story. And the idea is that you learn a little bit about the culture as you have fun.
That's amazing. So what can you tell us? What I think right now, Tristan, we're in the game menus is what I'm seeing right now.
I was unpausing a bit, but this guy was a little obnoxious, so I paused.
Okay. I was going to say, Andres, can you tell us where are we at right now? What are we looking at?
So in the game, you start by waking up in this bed, which you don't know much where you are or what's going on. And the dialogue will kind of let you know that everything's in Spanish. Right? I'll try to do my best translating it as we go. So yeah, you're supposed to be your own character, and you wake up, and this tells you how to kind of trigger the dialogue and how to use the dialogue as you go. So you just press T when you see the dialogue and click on it as you go to progress.
Press
Very
T,
cool.
huh?
I see that we have a couple people joining us on our Twitch stream chat. Barnacus says, I'm going back to school to get a PhD in Minecraft. I will minor in lounging on the sofa. That sounds like a fun thing, too. And then B. Archaeology says, hey, guys. And she says, hi, Andres. And so, yeah, so with that said, if you're joining us via live, our stream chat, right, or our live stream right now, on Twitch, feel free to ask us any questions, or if you have comments, let us know in the stream chat feature. It's always fun interacting with people.
All right, Tristan, try to go back there where that, just the back of the house, downstairs. There should be dialogue that pops up. I don't know why your dialogue's not popping up.
So who are these guys honking around? These are just villagers?
Yep, they're villagers. They're people from the Manteño.
I want to ask you, Andres, about the house that we're in. That you said it's based on some archaeology that you guys have done.
Yes.
Is it just entirely based off of the archaeology, or do you also are there any like historical documents that give descriptions of what these buildings look like? What were you working with to create this?
That's a great question. So the location of the buildings themselves and the valley is based on the real place that we've been surveying for years now. It's been at least since 2012 that this place has been surveyed, and I started working there since 2015. And the reconstruction of the houses and the artwork and all that, it's based on the archaeological finds, and also there are records from the Spanish chronicles from the few meetings that the Spanish had with the Manteño that gives us bits and pieces of information. So it's really based, on our most educated guess of what their houses looked like, and of course adapting it to the kind of limits that Minecraft gives you. Although it's incredible how much you can actually expand on the game itself and cover different things that work well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you more, kind of going into the process of how you did that. But before I get there, can you give us a little bit of background about, what are these sites? The history and the archaeology. What's been done there? What is currently on the landscape? Is this like private land? Is this public land?
Oh, absolutely. A little bit of both. A good chunk of it is part of a national park in Ecuador called the Machaliza National Park. So most of it is a cloud forest, tropical environment in coastal mountain chain that is separate from the Andes in the Pacific coast of Ecuador. The culture of the Manteño, we're around from around 800 AD to around contact with Spanish, and they lasted a little bit longer into perhaps even the 17th century. And they're just can be described as a large nation of traders and producers of goods that covered this what is now the Manabí province in Ecuador. And they were seafarers that would go all the way to Chile, all the way to Mexico, and exchange goods, and especially this shell called the spondylus shell. That it's a very pretty red shell that is hard to get. So that was kind of a commodity that they kind of had a monopoly over. And they built their houses out of stone foundations and adobe walls and bamboo roofs and thatch coverings and things like that. Yeah.
Right. And I know Tristan's working on getting the game back up, so people are probably seeing the starting soon screen right now. So he's working on that. So we should have the game
perfect
going up pretty soon. So you mentioned this shell. So is this shell just unique to that area of South America alone, or is it found widely along the shore? Like where are they getting these at?
There are two species. There's a red one and the purple one, Spondylus principis and Spondylus calcifer, and they're mostly found in warm waters. So they are found in the Caribbean, they're found in Mexico, but the ones in the coast of Ecuador are particularly large and very pretty. And some of the older shells, they can be turned into necklaces and jewelry. And so it's like any sort of commodity. It's hard to get and it's pretty.
Right. And
all right, so you wake up in this strange house and you don't know what's going on. So Tristan, you want to press T to open the dialogue. And then if you click on siguiente, that means next. So basically it's like, oh, I was sleeping so well, but this is not my bed. And then you click again, and then it gives you a clue. That's what pista means. And it's just go down the stairs, to explore.
Okay. I see how.
So the dialogue kind of drives the adventure here a little bit.
Sure.
How long did it take you to create, like, just this building? Is this...
So he's saying, oh, where am I? This is not my house. And you can click on, there we go. Let's go outside.
Okay.
And it's just telling you, try to find a way out. The house, it's interesting. It's once you create one, it doesn't take that long to replicate them. But I did try to make everything to the scale and the dimensions of the actual sites. So the foundation you're seeing there is a real, foundation that we recorded. This is actually site 001, which is kind of cool. And you want to go to the resource pack, Tristan?
Yeah, I don't have the shaders on, do I?
I think you have the shaders, but you need that resource pack on, the one that's called Sisa de Poder.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Reloading.
It's with any game that you first start out. You always have little technical difficulties that will get sorted out.
There's a lot of custom content, that you have to turn it on to make it work.
Okay.
Yeah. And now, do you know of any other archaeologists that have created something like this, or is this something that you just kind of thought up of on your own and just went into?
I've seen recreations of some sites, some very famous sites, especially if they're monumental and they have great architecture, but nothing like a river valley like this. And I haven't seen anything turn into an actual adventure game, so I'm pretty excited to have done that.
Yeah, this is amazing.
There we go. So that's the title, Mundo Manta, which is the Manta world, and the cloud forest of Bola de Oro. Bola de Oro is the name of the mountain, the tallest mountain in the area there. So that's why it's called that.
Oh.
So that's site one, and that's a little house next to a small building that I interpreted as the kitchen. I did have to take some liberties. Sometimes we don't know what some of these are, but based on some of our findings and excavations, I interpreted that as a kitchen.
Why did you interpret it as a kitchen? Is it based on what was found in there?
Yeah, so you find these pots that are buried on the ground that have burn marks on the inside. So they were essentially the ovens or the cooking pots, or basically your hearth.
Okay,
so instead of having a chimney, you had your hearth on a large pot on the ground.
Oh, and now was it buried? Like when they were using it, was it actually buried in the ground, or is it something? Okay, wow. So that's why you found it in the ground like that.
Exactly. And this is really cool because it's one of the few things that we have a modern ethnographic continuation. There's type of ovens that are called manavita ovens that do the same thing, but they're on a box, like on a wooden box that has cement, and they're a little bit more elevated. So they're not on the ground, but they're, elevated. Here, I just put kind of some fire on the ground to kind of replicate it.
Yeah, it's so cool that it's still, it still has a record of being in use. That's amazing. And now, I noticed that this building, it looks like now, are both of them like built up like this on like mounds, or is that just?
That's just on the terrace, the way the terrace is. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so the little dialogue kind of told you to follow the yellow path to see, to go to a town, to ask someone what's going on.
All right, then off we go.
The adventure begins. This is how the Hobbit started out, right?
That's pretty much the same dialogue, so you can ignore it. So this is a river valley in the cloud forest of Ecuador. So I try to replicate the environment as much as I could. Watch out, the water kills you. That's part of the story.
Yeah, I learned that when I was exploring around a little bit.
But the way the bamboo goes along the river, that's very much like the area. You have large trees, and based on our knowledge of the culture and sort of our archaeological findings, we know that they did agriculture on the slopes, and then you have the cloud forest on the ridge top. So that's kind of where you see that kind of purple ground that's starting to become the cloud forest. So that's not where you want to go. You want to stick to that yellow path.
Stick to the yellow brick road. Right.
That's right.
That.
Right.
Yeah.
This is very simple, like an old, Zelda or
this is one of my favorite games.
Simple adventure game.
Yeah. And then you said they were agriculturalists. What exactly were they growing?
Mostly maize. The staple in the area has always been maize. We have some of the oldest evidence of the use of maize. And also all kinds of what do you call it? Like not pumpkins, but whatever's related to
squash.
Yeah, squashes and gourds and things like that. Also yucca. Yucca is amazing. It grows everywhere. You can put it on rock and it grows.
Oh, wow.
And you can make bread out of. So it's telling you, oh, there's a house there. Maybe somebody tells me what's going on.
So we gotta
or they give me something to eat. I have a lot of. I'm very hungry. So it says investigate the house.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got to figure that one out. The rest of it, forget it. But yeah, that one. Yeah, this is so cool.
So those are storage silos. That's how they stored their food. They had basically little silos on the ground that were covered in stone, and then they stored the food underneath. So you still find these in the archaeological record.
And then when you find these, what is left of them? I mean, is it like
the stones are still on the top, covering the hole, and then you find a depression, and they're usually broken pots and things like that. They used to hold the food.
So were they storing things like seeds and dry beans and things like that, or corn? What?
Yeah, corn and everything that's perishable that you want to keep like cool and away from the bugs. So this is your first character, the guy that's not moving. The guys that are moving are kind of just people around. But he's like, hey, I'm Don Chilan. So there to follow the dialogue, you press T again, and you press on your dialogue, which is the blue dialogue.
Oh, okay.
It's like, hello. It's like, oh, you have very weird clothing. You must be from the highlands or maybe the jungle. It's like, where am I? That's what you ask, Mm-hmm. You're in the cloud forest of the sacred mountain of Bola de Oro. It's like, who are you people? Mm-hmm. We are the people of Salangomé. Salangomé is the name of the chiefdom that the Spanish had contact with, so the name's still preserved in the chronicles. Part of the great people of Cansebi. And Cansebi is supposed to be the original name of the Manteños. Manteño is kind of how the archaeology knows it, but through the chronicles, the one name that we kind of have for the entire people is this Cansebi. But they also know us as the Pueblo Manta or Los Manteños. And the manta comes from because the Spanish saw a lot of manta rays around the time that they got to the Ecuadorian coast, so they associated the manta rays with this people.
Oh, cool.
So then you ask, what year is it? It's the year's 1440 in your calendar, but we've been here for more than 5,000 years. And you're very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm 500 years in the past. So this is you realizing that you're 500 years in the past.
Okay. Yeah.
And the guy is telling you, oh, it's very nice to meet you. Please go into my house and meet my family.
They're very noisy, his family.
That's just villagers in Minecraft that are that noisy.
Slamming doors just like kids.
And so the you said the clothing is different, so we can't really see what we're wearing right now. What is different? What we're wearing compared to what these people are wearing?
Well, I'm limited to what Minecraft can give me. So
right, sure, yeah.
But it's interesting how well their clothing and styles fit with the culture. They were great at textiles. We have evidence that they made very fine textiles, and some of the textiles that you can see in the wall behind our character here are actually reproductions by descendants of these people. And there's ethno-historian called Catherine Klump that kind of replicates ancient techniques, and one of them was these textiles. So that's an actual original reproduction of what a Manteño textile would have looked like.
Now, is that the green one on the wall or the one behind us with the bird?
Both of them. I kind of play with them to change colors, so there's a little more variety of them.
Mhm.
So yeah, those two.
Both of these.
It's the same design. I just played with the colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so if you talk to Doña Chilan here, she'll give you the first mission.
She says, hello.
All right, so it's like, I will give you something to eat, but the watusa that was going to be dinner escaped. So then you ask, what is a watusa? Because, no one knows what
I was
a
about to
watusa is.
ask you that same thing. What's watusa?
So watusa is a little animal that is very tasty and lives in the forest. So can you help me find it? And it's like, yeah, please. Sure, I'll go find it. I have a lot of, I'm very hungry. It's like, here, the jungle is very dangerous. And she gives you an axe made out of a type of wood called chonta, which is very hard. And then she's telling you the instructions. Basically, it's follow the pink path to the Watusa cave, where the Watusa hides at night. So you have to go at night. And here, have this, because the cave is very dark. And watch out with a duende.
What's that?
So duende is actually the main antagonist of the story. And
okay.
Duende basically means goblin.
Okay.
But the local people of Manabi have all these stories about goblins in the cloud forest, and it being kind of this mischievous, sometimes evil, sometimes not spirit. So I figured it was an interesting character to use as a
Right. And then, can you talk a little bit about? So you mentioned the wood that this axe is made out of. This is like a stone head, or is this metal? Did they do any metallurgy?
So this is kind of interesting about this area is that we don't really have arrowheads because of there's good stone, and you can get here's telling you that the path is blocked with a cane, so you can use the axe to cut it. There you go.
Sharp
Perfect.
axe.
So you have lithics and you have lithic technology all the way to contact, but you don't have arrowheads. There it's just telling you follow the pink path.
Okay.
That's about it. So you find lithics for chopping tools and cutting tools and simple things like that, but you don't have arrowheads because there's this type of black. It's almost like a black bamboo called chonta, or a black palm. Sorry, not bamboo. And it's really, really hard. You can actually make a machete out of it, and you can chop a tree with basically just the wood. Wow. So it's a lot easier, less time consuming, and more durable to make spears and darts out of this wood than it would be to nap a point.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, have you guys found any of those, like evidence of that archaeologically of the wood?
Well, it's perishable, so
right.
You don't. Except that there's sort of a sister culture to the Manteño called the Huancavilcas that live further south, and they live in more a desert environment. And there's been instances of preserved wood elements, and some of them are made out of chonta. Things like darts for atlatls would have been made out of chonta.
Oh, wow.
And that culture used to actually make totems out of different types of wood. Not chonta, because chonta you can't make anything that big, but so there is some preservation with wood in some other areas. This is that area is too wet.
And is that
it's
wood
still used today? So that's why we know it's and it's used in the Amazon too, like the Waurani people and all those tribes in the Ecuadorian jungle, make huge lances out of chonta.
Oh wow, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If it's still used, that's amazing. But I guess that totally makes sense. Like, why go through all the trouble? I was watching a guy on I think TikTok or something do foot napping a couple of days ago, and it's it's time consuming.
A lot of work.
Cut your fingers up.
And your legs.
And it's not very durable. I mean, if you become a good flint napper, you can create tons of tools really quickly. But you miss one shot or you hit a tree or something, your arrowhead breaks. Like, it's not very effective.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
So it's very time consuming. So if you have a palm that you can just sharpen to a point, like even if it loses its edge, then you just sharpen it again, and it's it's all good. There you go. So you're finding the entrance to the cueva. All right. So the caves are completely like, imagination. There's no caves that I know of like that here, but that was kind of like the two elements of the game. One of them is a very educational one with a real place and real sites, and the other is the adventure place.
Yeah, you gotta make it fun for the kids.
Yeah, of course,
for sure.
So that mechanism only opens at night, so I'm very proud of that one.
Okay, what's this on the wall? What's that on the wall?
Let me check something. Seems like you're having issues here. Press escape. Go to options. Video settings.
Uh-huh.
And try dynamic lights go on. There you go.
Okay.
The torch wasn't
So
working.
your torch can actually
light up the area.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, there we go. Okay, let's look at this wall.
Okay, this wall.
The carving.
So those are some of the most incredible artifacts that we know from this culture, and very few of them remain. They're called, they're stelas, right? Kind of like the Maya stelas. So the Manteño used to make stelas too. And there's a few that have been photographed from when they were recovered in the early 20th century. I guess not recovered, pretty much just stolen, but
right.
So I figured I would incorporate those throughout the game. So you'll see them periodically, especially in the caves.
What kind of stone are they made of? Do you know?
Mostly sandstone. There's a lot of sandstone in the area that, it's very well, it's very good for carving. So it's
right. Now,
so they do these, and they do this stone chairs in the shape of a U. And you'll see examples of that as we go in the game.
B. Archaeology says, Andres, this is super cool. I can't imagine how much time this took.
A lot of time. So that's your save point right there. So it's telling you, there's a save point. How convenient. I should rest. There you go.
And that's that same fabric pattern on the wall that we just saw.
Yep. And if you see the one on the right, towards the entrance of the cave, there's also a chest with some food if you're hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's that thing jumping in the?
So it's a bunny, but it's supposed to be a watusa, which is kind of like a rodent.
Oh, okay.
So and if you see the image there, it's a watusa. This is a shirt we found in one of our excavations, so I incorporated that into our. So it's an actual artifact from the area.
Oh, cool. Wait, where was that artifact at that you just mentioned?
Just at the entrance, not at the entrance of the cave. Turn around. It was right at the wall where the chest was. Right
Tristan,
there.
He wanted to capture that watusa.
It was getting away from me.
So there's a ladder right down there, so you can go down that ladder.
So I didn't need to actually capture the watusa?
No. This is just an excuse to get into the cave and explore.
Oh, okay. I can accept that.
Tristan, if you haven't played Minecraft a lot, if you press F, you can put that torch in your left hand, and then you can keep your weapon in your right hand.
I used to, but it's changed a lot. Oh, hello.
So now you can... watch out. Put your axe on. Or
Is that the goblin?
Well, these are just random zombies that are attacking.
There's zombies. I gotcha.
There you go.
I mean, you can't have a cave and not put zombies in there.
Right.
Exactly. There has to be some sort of enemy, right?
Right.
No tow car.
All right, and there's a little boat right there. Oh, yeah, it says don't touch the water because the water will kill you, but you can take the boat. So left-click the boat, or right-click the boat. Yeah, there you go.
And so you mentioned that these people obviously were using the waterways. Can you talk about some of the boat technology that they had?
Oh, absolutely. And there will be a character later on that kind of talks about that, but let me tell you about it. So this speaks to the connectivity of the different regions that the Manteño, mastered. So there's this type of wood that grows in the cloud forest. We know it's a very difficult place to live, but it's extremely buoyant. And you probably have heard about it. It's called balsa, right? Balsa wood.
Balsa wood, yeah.
So balsa wood comes from this type of environment, and it's plenty, it grows, everywhere in the cloud forest. So they had to go all the way in there to harvest it, and then they made a press the shift and the right click to get off the boat. Sorry.
Really?
Shift right click.
It's not working.
Or hold down shift right click.
Okay, there we go.
There you
He don't get in the water. Don't touch the
Don't
water.
touch water. There's a zombie in there too.
So yeah, they used to make very large rafts, the size of houses,
Oh wow.
which they used to go all the way to Mexico and all the way to Chile.
Now, were these like? Did they have sails on them? Or are they rowing these?
Yes, they had sails.
Wow. And what were the sails made out of? Just, you said they fabric, I guess, right?
Yep, they had cotton. They had all kinds of cotton. They had different colors of cotton, and they were incredible at making textiles. So they had their sails. There's also a type of there's a bunch of types of different plants that to make what do you call them? It's not fabric, but like plant-based.
Like the ropes, the lines, and
yeah,
stuff?
the ropes, the lines, exactly. There's cabuya, there's pajatoquilla. They're very good for that sort of stuff.
Oh,
I can't seem to get into the boat. Do I need to?
Is it the bunnies? Yeah, you do need to. It's just faster if you do.
I can't kill the bunnies.
You can't right-click it?
No, it's not. I am. It's just not doing it.
That's weird. It must be because the bunnies are
I
there.
think the bunnies are blocking me.
you got to kill the bunnies.
No
You're gonna
room.
have to go through the side.
I couldn't kill them.
Well, this makes your like a journey a little bit longer, but you can go through the walls.
Mm-hmm. And so you said that the idea behind building this is teach local kids about the history and culture. Have you tested this on any like school kids yet?
Oh yeah, we had this summer. It wasn't completed yet, but we had a demonstration with a bunch of school kids from the town of Salango, which is the town where the museum is, and who this project was meant for. And yeah, they loved it. They didn't have a lot of time to kind of interact and play with, just because of COVID. It was kind of hard to come up with computers for everyone and all that. But eventually, I want to distribute it in the school, and also at there's like cyber centers where kids go and play video games. So I want to install it there now that's completed, and it will be available online too.
That's awesome. Yeah, that this will be available for, because like I said, my son, and I know in their school they use Minecraft. I'm not sure exactly what they play, but I don't think it's anything like this where you actually get archaeology and history and social studies all built.
You just
into
ate
it.
raw meat, man.
I'm eating human flesh, actually. I'm eating human flesh, actually.
Right. So the map. Watch out. There you go. So the idea of these caves is the first part you fight a few enemies, then the second part you have this kind of parkour area because kids love that stuff.
Oh yeah. Big
Do
time.
I have to shout it as I jump over things? Parkour.
Yeah. Yes.
I could do it
Yes.
for you. Yeah. Parkour.
So this one in this cave is very simple, and there's like a total of 4 caves, and they get progressively harder as you go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Don't eat the raw meat.
It's healing me.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
if your food is full, it heals you.
So let me tell you a little bit of why the game was made. So with COVID, it was very difficult for the museum that we work with to get people and to get funds, right? So we applied for a small grant to kind of get exposure to the museum during COVID. So it was basically to have digital exposure. So this turned into a website for the museum and for a center of investigations that will hold all of our research. It will hold our pictures. It has a 3D gallery of the museum with 3D models I created, and it will have the download of the game.
That's amazing. Yeah, actually.
Cool.
Go ahead.
And
No, I just
sorry to tell that the grant was given by Iber Museos, which is a Spanish organization that's meant to promote small private museums in the Americas.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great tool, and it makes, especially now, I think COVID, everybody really had to kind of pivot to virtual, but I think that's really where, and B. Clark.
Well, here, go to the right, Tristan, because you're going to hit the water. There you go, careful.
But B. Clark Archaeology.
And there's a save point right there. You should be good. You're doing a great job, by the way.
I'm a pro.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you'd be dead by now.
Yeah, aren't you
Very
disappointed?
a little bit. Just
Man,
a little.
they should have given me a bag. I could have captured so many of these, not bunnies.
I know. It's just so you keep following them.
And so do kids in Ecuador, do they normally get in their lessons stuff about archaeology, or is this a way to really kind of introduce it to them for the first time?
They do. When I was a kid, there wasn't a whole lot, but now I think it's getting a lot better. So this is a sort of Indiana Jones type of area.
This is where we'll watch Tristan die.
Could be.
So now they do, and it's an incredible history. Some of the oldest pottery in the Americas. It's more than 10,000 years of continuous history. It's a lot to be proud of, but it's never really being integrated into the popular culture, I would say, properly. Mm-hmm. So I think this kind of helps. All right, so this is an important plot point. So you see that character up there? It's kind of hard to see, but that's the duende. Oh, okay. So he's telling you he's the protector of the forest, but he's turned the Watusa into a horrible monster.
Oh, God.
So here, watch out. That horrible monster.
This is almost as scary as
I think you
Nancy
have the game on easy, Tristan. That should be a lot harder than that.
It's almost scary.
No, it's just that incredibly strong axe that he has.
It's not normal.
Ah, okay. That's fine. It is an incredibly strong axe. All right, so he's saying you've destroyed my test or beaten my monster, but the duende's always watching you, so watch out.
I'm gonna take all.
It appears you found. You can only take. I mean, if you take one, it's fine. You don't have to take all of them.
Well, he just sent his monster after me, so. Or
that is true.
Typical colonizer.
All right, so with his golden axe, now you can break that stone.
Yeah, B. Clark Archaeology says, what a great example of meeting kids where they are at to teach them too. Yeah, I was going to make that point too. I think kids this is where they're at. So you meet them here for sure.
Very
so
neat.
Here it's telling you, wow, there's like a stone chair like the ones in the museum, but giant, with a sun behind. So I don't know if you saw as you're walking, there was like kind of like a sun there. And this is me trying to replicate some of the stelas, which have this sort of mountain pyramid thing and the chair at the top and a sun. So this is sort of the fantastic part of it.
And you said the examples of chairs like this are at the museums?
This is kind of a sad story. There's very few of them that are complete, and they're in Ecuador. I think there's only a handful. There used to be, on sites back before 1910, hundreds. But there used to be this archaeologist, Seville, who wrote the first book about the Manteño. It's actually a very incredible book. But, it was in the era where archaeology and antiquarianism was hand in hand, and he basically funded his research by putting all the chairs in ships and, taking them all over the world and selling them to museums. So you can find them in the Museum of the American Indian in D.C. You can find them in Yale at the Peabody. You can find them in Germany. You can find them in Spain. But there are very few left in Ecuador, and there are none in the area where they should be, which is, where we work.
Right, yeah. And have there been any conversations at all about, repatriation? I know that.
Yes, yeah, there's been a lot of efforts. The Ecuadorian government is being in contact with. This is an important plot point. Sorry, here. So, I hear some voice. This is weird. I hear a voice from this chest. So now this is the only goddess that we know from the Manteño called Umiña. So Umiña is speaking to you. She is the real protector of the forest. The duende has poisoned the water, and he trapped the Umiña, the goddess, in an emerald and split it in 3 pieces. So please, in this chest, you'll find the first emerald. Help me find the 3 pieces so we can basically free me and kill the duende and restore the water. So that's the main kind of story, right? Is you trying to defeat the duende, restore the water, and recover the emeralds. So it says, clue, use the lever to open the exit to the Pueblo Manta. So don't forget to get the emerald in the chest too.
Right.
You've got another compliment, Andres, from Buttery Barnacles, who says, this is an astonishing and detailed teaching tool, very impressive, a great way to introduce kids to archaeology using a game they already love.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So so far everybody's approving. This is great reviews so far.
Good.
And so did you had to then write all the script for this then, right? All the dialogue, you wrote that?
Oh, definitely. You know, I was amazed how much you can do with Minecraft. Initially, you know, I wanted an easy way to recreate some of the sites I've been mapping for years. And I figured, oh, Minecraft's easy. You know, it's blocks. You know, I could easily recreate a house. And then I started getting into all the customization you can do with different shader packs and different resource packs and the content people have created online and how much you can create as far as content. So all the tools are there. It's incredible how much you can do. Like, for example, an element of this resource pack I'm using is corn. So there's no corn in the game. So someone here, let me find their name.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Corn Cob Dog at Corn Cob Dog created this shader pack where it replaces beets in the game with corn. So that gave it, you know, this element of the game to me that you know, made it very authentic to have the corn. And then the rest of the resource pack stuff that I didn't create was created in this resource pack called Clarity, which is really incredible because it uses textures that are higher resolution than Minecraft normally does. So it makes it look really nice. And it gives it that kind of adventure look. So it's called Clarity, and the maker is SC Tester. And we'll put the links for all this stuff once we post the video up.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so we just passed a lot of different carvings. And so how did you incorporate those into the game? I mean, you said these are based on real
so that's something that's pretty neat about Minecraft, is that there's paintings that you can incorporate into the game, and there's stock ones that, you know, the game comes with, but you can change that to whatever you want. So I took artifacts from famous ones from the internet. I took ones that we found through the field school, like that one, and others, and edit them to just kind of change them a little bit, and incorporated them in the world, so it gives that a little bit of authenticity.
Yeah, I think it's a great touch. And also, like, if kids are going to go to a museum, you know, like, especially like, you know, before a museum visit, if they go on a field trip, you know, whenever COVID is not around, obviously, in the future, hopefully, but it'll be interesting to see if they recognize those artifacts from the game, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And to me, you know, it's so important for them to just see the imagery, you know. One of the things that I like doing is with some of those 3D models that I've been working on, I've created little 3D prints of, you know, little plastic prints of artifacts with their symbols, of their ancestors, and just give them away, you know, in that testing of the game that we did, this public archaeology event. You know, we used those so they would draw artifacts, and also they get to keep them. And I'm telling you, like, they made them so happy, and especially to have something that's not just, you know, an American toy or a Japanese toy or something like that. It's like the first time that they have a symbol of theirs, you know, as a plastic toy that they can play with. So this is awesome. A kind of a similar version of this, is see themselves represented in a video game.
Right. And then how did you go about, like, writing the story to this? Was it something you kind of just wrote an outline for and then kind of built it from there, or is it you just kind of wrote it as you went along? So here it says,
"Oh, what a day. Looks like this is just the beginning of my adventure. There's no road, but if I follow the river downstream, I should get back to the town." So this is telling you a little bit of survival skills there. So follow the river downstream to get back. So, you know, it was an interesting process. I started with the map. The first thing I wanted to do was to recreate this segment of the river that I did my thesis on, and we have, you know, over 50 stone foundations, to try to see what it would look like, you know, with walls and roofs and all that. And then it kind of naturally became this setting that as you went up the river, you know, you get more houses. And it's interesting because you know, the more you go upriver, the less impacted these sites have been, so they're more complete. So in the video game, you essentially are going upriver and going into these more complete, more complex sites, and then you learn a little bit about the culture there in these settings. So that kind of gave me a natural sort of storyline to follow the river upstream. And then the part of the emeralds and the goddess, it's kind of like any of these adventure games, from the 90s, where you have to recover a few things and then that's how you progress. But the emeralds actually part of recorded history. The Spanish recorded that the Manteño had a deity called Dumiña, and it resided in this giant emerald. And of course, the Spanish, being the Spanish, wanted the emerald and searched
Really
for
badly.
the emerald, and they never found the emerald. There's actually no sources of emeralds in Ecuador. So it is kind of a mystery. So I figured I would incorporate that in here. So look at those fields of corn. Aren't they pretty?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
The trees. That's really cool.
And you said they farmed by doing terracing. Can you explain what that was exactly?
Oh, absolutely. This is actually what I'm studying in my dissertation. It's, we found all these sites on all the terraces, the natural river terraces, right? That's a river meanders, it leaves natural terraces, and that's the kind of only flat place you get in this environment. But all of these flat terraces are houses. They're residential areas. So the next question is like, where are they growing their food, right? So it seems like they're doing very gentle, different types of terraces within the drainages and the slopes of the mountains. So they're a lot harder to see because they're not, they don't have like huge stone walls or anything like that. But you can see them through laser scanning. So that's pretty cool.
Right. And so is the map that you created, is that based off primarily from laser scans that you all have done? Have you done any like LiDAR or anything in this area?
I did. So I did do LiDAR in the area. And all that information is still being processed. And, I did a test where I took one of those maps and I tried to make a Minecraft map, but it had so much detail that it was impossible. So this is based on I think it's like a 20 meter, maybe 10 meter digital elevation model that I found in the internet.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And there's this, again, this program called World Painter, where it's a Minecraft program that someone created, and you essentially can take any digital elevation model map from the world and create a Minecraft map. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And how long did it take? I mean, you mentioned some of these mods. I guess we used to call them mods. I guess maybe they call them something else now. But how long did it take you to learn all of this to create?
I never really played Minecraft that much. I enjoyed like the customization of it. So I figured playing with it a little bit to recreate the sites, would be fun, and it is, but it opened this whole another level of customization. It's incredible. That's kind of what I was going to is, there's not only just the blocks and the world, but there's mechanics that go into Minecraft. So there's circuitry that you can use for mechanisms that open and close. So I got into that, and that's how I did those trapdoors and things like that. Then there's a bunch of codes. There's blocks that you can put codes so that certain thing happens based on certain locations, and it's all based on Java coding. So kids that get into this can learn, not just, have fun and create a world, but they can learn coding, they can learn mechanics, they can learn circuitry. It's an incredible game.
Yeah, there's so much potential, I think, and I guess that's why they're starting to use them. I think in schools mainly for coding, but I think one thing that we've always talked about in at least public archaeology is how you can really use archaeology in school lesson plans to teach multiple different lessons from different fields, science and math and technology and art, and obviously social sciences. So there's so much potential, and that's awesome that you can also say, well, coding too. I think it makes a really attractive product for school teachers. And so you said, now how will this be something that eventually might be available for really anyone to download, or is it just mainly for the schools and?
No, so the end product will be a website for our investigation center and for the museum in Salango in Ecuador. It should launch in about 6 days, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and it will have all of our information. It will have a lot of our results and pictures of our work. It will have the game for download for free. and it will have a 3D museum. Basically, 3D models of the artifacts of the museum will be in display. About 17 of them, I believe.
That's awesome. And now to play the game, will they have to already have Minecraft as a game?
Yeah, you need to own Minecraft Java to be able to play the game. There's
Gotcha.
no way around that.
Right.
And you can do it without all the mods and things we've been talking about, right? Just
yes,
if you want it to look like
you
this.
don't necessarily need the shader. The shader is just to make it look incredible. If you have a computer with a nice video card, so you know how the light is going through the doorway or the leaves, you know that's the effect of the shader. So you can turn that off, and you don't necessarily need that. The resource packs, you do need that because that it essentially makes the game look the way it's supposed to look. But that's all going to be up for download on the website.
Yeah,
and that's going to be such a.
And the shader is too. It's free online.
The shader, you'll have links for them.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So just for time, I would say keep going on the straight. So the third dungeon is on the left, but that is blocked. You can't break that, so you just go here.
Pueblo is what you wanted, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really amazing just looking at the landscape. I really look forward to being able to look at that website and looking at any of the photos that you all might put up there to kind of compare it to.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and for me it's been a lot of fun because I've worked for years in this valley. I walked all of it, and for example, this very narrow path up the hill here where you have a huge drop. That is a place I know. That's a place where we always tread carefully. We don't fall down the cliff.
Oh, wow.
So there's that's how accurate this is. There's places I recognize really easily.
Cool, really cool.
And the site you're coming across, this is one of the first sites I mapped, and had those two stone foundations, the one for the house and the other one possibly for a detached kitchen. That's still we have to do a lot more digging.
Now, some of the sites that are on here, are these places that like the public can actually go to? Are they open to public?
Not this river valley, because this is part of the national park and also private property. So unless you know the right people and you go with them, you can't go specifically to this site. But there's another river valley. Oh, Tristan, you want to chat to that person because they'll give you an important thingy. I'm just warning you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
you were talking about in order to get to these places you had to
another river valley called La Mocora that's next to it has just as many sites. We've been working there for years too, and that one is part of a ecotourism path in the cloud forest. So you can go there with guides. They usually take you on horseback. We usually walk, but if you want, you can go horseback. And the attractive thing is to go to the cloud forest and see the howler monkeys and the capuchin monkeys.
Yeah. So
but the sites are everywhere. Yep.
Wow. And so how, like, for people that are international travelers that would want to go do something like that, where would they go to do that? How would you?
That's really easy. So the main town in the area is called Puerto Lopez, and it's very famous because of humpback whale watching around our summer. So that's what attracts a lot of tourists that take boats out there, and they see the humpback whales migrate through there with their calves and all that. So there, Tristan, you want to follow that path up the mountain there. Perfect. And this is a real site that I've mapped that it's incredible. It's at the top of this hill. It has 3 stone foundations. One of them is small, small being 10, 11 meters, which is bigger than my house. And the other 2 are like 35 and 38 meters long.
Oh,
that's a doorway.
Any idea?
That one I interpreted as a whale house. Don't touch the water because it'll kill you.
Okay.
You said whale house?
Oh, no, whale.
Oh, well,
drinking
gotcha.
water. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
This is the house of the chief. So it has the same layout as a small house. It's just huge. And you can go upstairs and check it out. There's not much of a story here. It's just the house to check it out. And the other house is the meeting house, and this is where the story kind of takes you.
Oh, there's a chair.
There's a chair. Look at that. There's a bunch of chairs. So I am extremely proud of those chairs because that's the content that I actually created from scratch.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
you know, it's all modeled and created by me.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's really just this is all very impressive. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect this.
Oh,
Like, I'll be honest with you. I was like, okay, it's probably like a couple of houses, you know, but just the fact that you did the entire landscape and then, you know, the paths and these buildings are.
well, we've only seen a fraction of this too, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man.
So this is the house of the chief. So here you get a map and you get a watch, but you can talk to the chief and the chiefness, I guess.
Yeah. I think
Minecraft
so
should
just
hire you.
a matter of time, you know, you can talk to each of these characters and ask them questions, and now these menus you can select. But essentially what I did is you see there's people on one side of the room and people on the other side of the room, right? And they all have their chairs. And these chairs are supposed to be where the leaders sat. But there's two types that we know in the archaeological record. One of them is the chairs that are being held by people. So there's people at the base of the chair holding that U where you sit, right? And there's the other ones that are animals. So the bat or the jaguar or whatever, right? So I decided, this is just my invention, right? Like that their system of government would be representative 50-50 of towns, but also of environments. So if you talk to the guy with the snail, for example, he'll be the representative of the Pacific Ocean. Right there, yeah. So that's a representative of an environment, right? While the other one is a representative of the fishing village. So that kind of brings balance between, you know, exploiting resources and also preserving environments where those resources come from.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah,
so you can talk to each one if you want, and they give you like a little piece of information of where they come from and what the environment is.
You wanted me to do that? Is that what you're saying, or?
Sure, if you want. I mean, you can
Okay.
talk to someone.
I didn't know if you wanted me to. We only got a few more minutes. I didn't know if you wanted me to run off and.
You
other
know,
things.
you know what we can do is. So essentially, from here, there's two caves that you have to go to find the emeralds and all that, right? So we won't have time to go through them. I mean, they're a lot of fun and they're really cool looking. But what I want to show you though is it's the main town, which is the greatest site I've come across. It has 22 buildings.
Wow.
So I was able to create that town. So if you want to change to creative mode so you can fly, that will kind of cut some of the time.
Do you remember the code? Is there a code?
So yeah, / game mode. And then, yeah, creative. Perfect. Now
Okay.
don't destroy anything, but if you double tap, yeah, you can fly. So keep going upstream and you'll find a
Upstream.
very large town.
Wow, look at
Am I going
this.
the right way?
Wow.
Good.
It's
Yeah,
huge. Yeah, this is great. We're like, this is like the cheat code.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I move around and build
Yeah.
things, you know.
So this is what you're talking about. Oh, my.
Yeah, so this is the market. So you can
Wow.
go down on that side of the river and check out the market. And then across the river is the town. And basically, I made it into workshops and kind of public spaces and things like that.
Yeah, this is incredible, man.
So if you double tap space again, I think you descend. There you go. So you can check out the markets and talk to people.
Goodness.
Yeah, this is huge.
And these are all real sites with, you know, those stones are there.
Oh,
So these foundations are pretty much exactly where they're at.
Exactly. So this is where you buy textiles. So they have all the cottons from different parts of the Manteño world.
and for the different merchants, is that based on, you know, archaeologically what was found in each one of these spaces, or you just had to be kind of creative with that?
You know, we really haven't gotten the chance to dig that much because, you know, there's just hundreds of these. So we've done one house completely, and that was, you know, interrupted for COVID. We did 2 field seasons there. We did 2017 and 2018, and we've finished a house completely.
Wow.
In checkerboard patterns. So we know the activity areas, we know where they cooked so we know that they cooked in the back of the house versus the front of the house. So it's based on information from that dig is that I've recreated some of the spaces. Then the rest of them is just guesses, based on certain dimensions, and just to kind of keep when I was creating this, you have to think about their needs too, right? They need places to get water, they need places to sleep, they need places to labor, they need places to store food, so those are kind of the decisions I had to take when filling up the town.
Yeah, it's just really incredible. And we're actually at our hour. I wish we could spend more time looking through this. But what an amazing tool. I mean, I think the comments are all pretty much unanimous in the stream chat. Everybody is really impressed with what you've done here. And I think it's just an amazing tool for school kids. And I can't wait to see the whole thing. We'll definitely put links to all that stuff down in the description when we put this video up on our YouTube channel. And anything else, Andres, you want to say before we sign off here?
Oh, I just want to thank you guys for giving me the space to display this game. This has been a lot of work, but it's been incredible creative work, which is something you don't come across a lot in archaeology because we have to be so scientific. So
right.
It was nice to kind of have to make some of those decisions of how to create a story, how to make the player follow a direction, and also how to present the knowledge in a form that it's more vivid, with people and characters and houses and food and things like that. So it makes stones and the jungle look more what there used to be.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of the if not the best incorporating archaeology and creativity in a video game that I've seen. I mean, we've played at this point. Tristan and I have played a lot of different games that kind of include it in some cases, but the level of accuracy here and getting kids involved and learning about it is really remarkable. So I commend you for all this work. This is really amazing.
Yeah,
thank you so
story
much.
is a lot of fun.
Please, I didn't create an English version. I wish I would have thought about that from the start. It's kind of hard to do that now, but please enjoy it, play with it, and if you have any comments, questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's almost good that's in Spanish. Now these kids have to learn another language.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
right.
Get a dictionary, just learn it. Google Translate will figure it out. Yeah, we appreciate you, Andres, once again. We'd love to have you back either for this game or maybe another one sometime. Maybe I'll definitely have my son play this. I mean, he's really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. The story gets very intense, and the other dungeons are not as easy as the first one. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think there's so many good elements in here. But with that said, we will have, I think next Friday is our next Archaeology Arcade schedule. Is that right, Tristan? Next Friday? I think that's right.
Yes.
We're going to have pirate historian and archaeologist on with us, Bayless Brooks, who wrote The Quest for Blackbeard, and we're actually going to be playing the game by popular demand is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So we actually will have a pirate historian with us to talk about that game. So join us for that when we're live on Twitch. And of course, we'll put all that stuff on our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to like this video, subscribe to our channel. That's always really helpful to help promote the channel so other people can learn about this amazing game. So please do that. And again, thanks again, Andres, and thanks, Tristan.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This has been great.
Thank you.
Bye.